The Argos are riding high after a statement win over the national runners-up on Saturday. Find out what player earned weekly honors out of the historic win. Coach Shinnick puts the significance in perspective. We'll preview basketball with both teams returning to action this weekend, and we talk with defensive hero John Williamson. It's all this week. The Coach Shinnick Show starts now. Welcome into Week 11 of the Coach Shinnick Show. After a huge win against North Alabama, welcome in head coach Pete Shinnick. I'm Tommy Thrall. Thanks for being with us. A lot of fun stuff to talk about on the show this week, so let's get right to it. That is a huge win, and it's a big program win, too, isn't it?
It is. It's one that, we need to have, and it's one that, we hoped that we could have got a little earlier in the season against a couple of opponents. But the way it happened and the way our guys played, the fans at Blue Wahoo Stadium, great night for our program, great night to be an Argo fan.
It feels different. I don't know why. The Florida Tech win was a big win earlier this year. The win over Florida Tech at home last year when they were ranked, big. Does this rank right up there with those wins, or is this a little higher than that? And what makes this such a big win?
Well, the thing that makes it a big win is just the history behind the University of North Alabama football program. 3 national championships, played in the national championship game last year, multiple Gulf South Conference championships. And to be able to beat them their last year of Division II, just a great way to send them off out of the league, but also a great step for our program. People go, hey, nice win over a ranked team last year at Florida Tech, but now they look at this and go, oh, wow, you beat North Alabama. That's a great win.
Well, it was senior day, which meant a lot of seniors being recognized prior to the game. It's amazing when you look at how many guys have been a part of this program over the last couple of years and are big pieces of this puzzle that are going to be leaving the program after the season. Well, it was a 36-yard field goal from Austin Williams that got it started. You guys got out to a quick 3-0 lead, and then a little miscue on special teams.
Yeah, great to see him put the ball on the ground and then fired up that our guys were just down there. There's about 8 guys around it trying to make it work. And we knew moving the ball was going to be tough early on him, so great to get a field goal. That worked out very well for us. And then we're the ones that have the miscue with this 100-yard kickoff return.
He didn't fumble that time, weaved his way through traffic. And then he got to the shoulder and took off down the sidelines. 100 yards, UNA went up 7-6. The good news was that was their only offense. Then it was the defense's turn to shine. John Williamson, what a day.
John just played outstanding. He's been playing extremely good football all season long. Great to see him get some sacks. All that hard work paying off. Sometimes as a D lineman, you set up linebackers, you do other things. Saturday was John Williamson's day. Fun to see that happen.
Great to see it. The last sack on 3rd down, and then after a punt, set up this big run from Anthony Johnson, who had a big breakout game.
Yeah, Anthony played great. That play actually was set up by Mike Beaudry, checking to it. We loved what we saw. And then the very next play, Carlos Duclos comes up huge with a touchdown catch. Great ball by Mike, put it right where it needed to be. From that point on, things just started to swing our way.
It certainly did. And how about Marvin Conley's hit here? Looks just as vicious in slow motion.
No, that was a game changer right there. They were trying to get momentum right before the half. Then I'll tell you, Antoine Griffin, his best day returning kicks, over 100 yards. Just a fantastic job. Changed the field continually in our favor.
And then Mike Beaudry again, Rodney Coates. What a catch.
No, great catch, great ball. Very fun to see Rodney get one of those. He's been so close as of late in order to get that done. That was huge. Come back, kick another field goal with Austin. He's just been a great addition to our team.
And then Marvin Conley getting it done defensively with a big interception there. The big hit earlier, now he pulls down the interception. He's done an excellent job this season.
No, he really has. We moved him to safety under Darian's new defense, and he's just really shined. And then this touchdown catch by Kevin Grant. Mike threw a great ball right in his chest. That's one that we haven't been able to come up with over the course of the last couple of weeks. To be able to get that was huge. And then we got a little celebration there in the locker room, singing the UWF football fight song.
Certainly,
so that's fun stuff.
Certainly a lot to celebrate. I think when you look at it, you look at the passing attack in this game and the fact that teams haven't been able to throw very effectively against North Alabama all season. The 3 touchdown passes were the most they've allowed since last year's national championship. What did you guys see in their secondary that kind of helped open that up, or was it just guys growing up?
Well, I think it's a couple things. I mean, first off, Jamie Deese does a great job just really coming up with a plan that puts, I think, our offense in a great position to be successful. And then it was guys growing up. I mean, you know, Tate made some phenomenal catches. I mean, he caught 2 on the sideline that really kept drives alive. The thing that was huge for us was to be able to put them in situations that they're not comfortable with. They hadn't had a lot of long drives against them. They hadn't had. They're typically used to, you know, going 3 and out, getting off the field. We made some big catches. We made some nice runs. Mike did a great job distributing the ball, and you know, all that played together for one of our better offensive performances of the year.
These receivers, it seems like they've learned if they're going to have big games in the GSC, the catches that they need to make aren't going to be wide open catches. It's going to be with guys draped all over them, and you kind of got to be physical to haul those passes in, don't you?
Got to be physical, and that's something that you know, Jamie talks to our wide receivers all the time about. You know, getting separation, using your hands, being creative at the line of scrimmage. If you're going to catch balls in the Gulf South Conference, you better be physical, and you better be ready to you know, get some contact and avoid some contact quickly.
Well, certainly plenty more to talk about from this one. The NCAA Soccer Selection Show is Monday night. Find out where the Argos fell in the seedings. We look ahead to basketball season, and John Williamson talks about all of the sacks that he had on Saturday. That's all coming up next. This is the Coach Shinnick Show on the UWF Sports Network.
We will never settle for the kiddie pool. We are destined for the vast ocean of opportunities that await us. We were born to make a splash. At the University of West Florida, you can make a discovery, make a difference, make a splash. So take a deep breath and dive in. The University of West Florida. How will you make a splash?
Being a champion takes more than talent, more than the perfect pass, more than using your head. Being a champion takes the spirit to always push harder, the ability to overcome any hurdle, and the fire to be the best. Welcome to Division II, where the pursuit is yours to create. And the question isn't, can you do it? It's, will you?
It's a miracle that springs forth to feed us, to clothe us, to bring us joy. A miracle prompted by rain and warmed by the sun. But few realize without healthy soil below ground, there would be little life above it. Learn more about this miracle under our feet and how we're working with farmers and ranchers to unlock the secrets in the soil.
We can stop to make sure someone is okay.
Get in the way and disrupt the situation.
Codify an authority.
Or walk them home safely.
We can change the language around rape.
We can make campuses safer for our teammates, our friends, and our classmates.
We cannot be bystanders.
Taking action isn't always easy, but it's on us
to intervene.
Because we can. Learn more and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
Welcome back to the Coach Shinnick Show. We turn our attention now to soccer. It's NCAA tournament time for women's soccer. The selection show was held Monday night, and the Argos learned their fate as a 5 seed. That means Joe Bartlinski's team is headed to Florence, Alabama to tangle with North Alabama in the opening match on Friday. The Argos were a 6 seed last season and turned that into a regional championship, their 3rd in 5 years. They're certainly hoping for a similar path this year.
Don't look at the seedings. We're in it, and then we see who our opponent is. It's North Al, so that's the only thing that matters. Seeding really doesn't matter at this time.
We would have loved hosting a game, but going on the road is something we're all used to, so hopefully we can just take care of business at North Al.
Men's basketball fell a possession shy of the school's first ever trip to the NCAA tournament, something they're using as motivation for the new season that tips off this weekend. They're home playing Albany State and Fort Valley State Saturday and Sunday. Jeff Burkhammer's ready to see what his team can do.
Well, I think we're excited about getting started. Had a great preseason. Got through a lot of different things there, trying to integrate 5 new guys with 8 returning players. But we feel good about where we're starting. Being picked 5th, I thought we'd be somewhere in the top 5 with the players we have coming back. We finished 4th last year and just barely missed by a possession of making the NCAA tournament. So unfinished business is on the back of one of our T-shirts. The importance of one possession is on the back of one of our T-shirts. So they have constant reminders of how close we were, and hopefully that gives them a little fuel to go ahead and find a way to maybe take that next step. We lose 3 good players, 3 good seniors with LeGrier, Summerfield, and Jason Latch, who's on our staff now. All those guys gave great minutes and great performances last year. So opportunity to step in and step up is there. Hopefully guys will step in and do a good job. Latrell Tidwell is a junior college All-American, is a 6'7" wing player, a guy that we're going to count on really helping us. Shondell Jackson, 6'5" wing player, another JUCO kid out of Ohio who's a big, strong kid that we feel can help. We've got a couple other guys that have come in. Cameron Cox is going to be a freshman point guard. He'll back up Rashawn, but he's a bigger point guard. It will give us a chance to sub Rashawn some. Probably the biggest surprise has been Connor Flanagan, a 6'8" kid from New Zealand who we felt like probably going to have a ways to go, but he's really come in and done a good job. So we've got some new guys that we feel like can come in and maybe help us immediately.
Coming off the school's first ever trip to the Elite Eight, Stephanie Lawrence-Yelton's women's basketball team returns to Hardwood this weekend as well. They're in Valdosta for the South Region crossover to also play Albany State and Fort Valley State. Coach Yelton has high hopes for this season.
We've got 3 point guards that have really come on strong, and we feel like we can play that position by committee a little bit. All 3 can really pressure on the defensive end of the court, and now they're learning our system a little bit better and being able to give us a little bit more on the offensive. Courtney Meyer inside, who holds the school record in shot blocks in a season and in a career right now. She returns for her senior season. I think she's developing very well under another post player, Chloe Branch, who we brought in to join her this year. And so Chloe's been a great addition. She's pushed Courtney and Courtney's pushed her, and I think that's going to be a great position at that 5 spot. You know, when you've got enough depth, when you got players who can really score and defend, it's anybody's game when it comes to practice. And so these players know that playing time is up for grabs. We do have some key positions open, and they're bringing it to practice every day. Oh man, we've got to bring that chemistry together. We've got a lot of new faces, so that's one of the things we've got to just keep working on and keep developing. We still think our focus is going to be on our defense and playing our pack line defense and making that great. Offensively, we're still going to push the ball hard. We've got some great inside players that can score. We got some perimeter players that can really shoot it and penetrate. So you'll see a lot of action on the outside. But yeah, for us to repeat, there's a lot of things have got to go right for us, and there's a lot of basketball to be played between now and in March, and we're waiting for that to happen.
Switching gears back to football, the Argos defense was incredible on Saturday. A big part of that was John Williamson. He's here with us now. John, thanks so much for stopping by.
Thank you for having me.
How much fun was that game on Saturday for you guys?
It was incredible. Coming off last year to this year, I mean, it was a blast playing our game and getting a defensive shutout too. That was a fun thing to do.
You guys were able to get to the quarterback, it seemed like, all day long.
Yes, sir.
What was it? I mean, did they have an inexperienced offensive line? Had you guys just made some adjustments? What was the big difference for you guys to get so much pressure on the quarterback?
I mean, there were definitely a lot of factors in it. A lot was their offense and how they ran the ball and how they switched over to pass every now and then. But our game plan was just phenomenal. And Coach Doolin and Coach Crutch and our defensive coaches had it set up to where we could only succeed in pass rush, and we did that.
You guys have really taken some steps, not just from last year to this year, but as this season has gone along, it seems like you guys just keep getting better week in and week out. Talk about that progress you guys have made.
Yeah, so starting off in the year, we were a little slow, a little sluggish, but we've definitely caught fire towards the end and towards the middle of the season. And just each week, we've been attacking each week as if it's our last game, and it's really paid off.
For you, and to have a big day like that, you were a part of 4 sacks in that game. 2 of them back-to-back, by the way. Incredible. What's the key to getting to the quarterback for you in a situation like that?
Just got to be relentless. You just can't ever quit. If somebody comes up and blocks you, you just have to keep working off him, get to the next guy, work off him. just not stop till you get there.
What happened all week that made this monster come out on Saturday?
I mean, definitely hard feelings from last year. We all wanted to get after it, get some hits in, get some hits back from last year. And so we just went as hard as we could in practice, and I think it showed up.
The memory from last season carrying over to this season, I'm sure that's not the only week that you guys have experienced that. Another big one on the schedule this week.
I mean, and yeah, that's definitely how we've taken this year. I mean, looking at last season, there were a lot of close ones and a lot of not so close ones. And, I mean, we've just played into a revenge game, really, in a lot of the games, and just fought and scratched until we can come out with a W.
Well, we'll talk about, the progress as you guys continue to get better. That win, I feel like, is a statement win, not just for you guys, but to the rest of the conference. How much does beating a team like North Alabama in a game like that mean to you guys?
I mean, it certainly means a lot. I mean, them coming off the runners-up for the D2 National Championship, and I mean, we really don't have a lot of respect in the conference. And I think that was a game that really turned heads for us, and it was good.
Talk about West Georgia. When you look at this game, obviously you guys are still playing for an outside chance to make the postseason.
Yes,
so what does this game mean for you guys, and how do you approach this, especially after the way things went down last year?
I mean, so last year was the same as North Alabama, really. I mean, go out there and got a huge loss last year. And, I mean, it definitely plays into our favor, I mean, having a chip on our shoulder, but also playing for the seniors and everybody, because this could be our last game. But, I mean, we're just going to play as hard as we can and practice as hard as we can for a shot at the playoffs.
All right, John, thanks so much for your time. Certainly appreciate it. Go have some fun this weekend.
Yes, sir. Thank you. We will.
All right. John Williamson joining us. More weekly honors to hand out. Plus, we preview the grand finale and discuss playoff scenarios when we are back with head coach Pete Shinnick.
We are not here to drift. We were born to move, to change, to jump in, dive deep, make waves, break through. We were born to splash. The University of West Florida is America's best university for making a splash. The University of West Florida. How will you make a splash?
So hear me scream. I was too young to understand what it means. I couldn't wait till I could be 17. I thought he lied when he said take my time to dream. Now I wish I could freeze the time at 17.
1 in 3 teens who smoke will lose years of these moments. It's your life. Don't miss a thing.
I'll be right back.
Hi. You think you're probably sober?
Yeah.
But you're thinking about taking the back roads home, just in case. If you're probably sober, then why would you do that? Good choice.
Probably okay isn't okay. If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
That's a full glass of wine. I'll be chatting you later.
Welcome back to the Coach Shinnick Show. After picking apart one of the nation's best secondaries, quarterback Mike Beaudry has again earned GSC Freshman of the Week honors. He finished the game 18 for 30 for 194 yards through the air. He also tossed 3 touchdown passes, more than anybody has against the Lions since last year's national championship game. This is the 3rd time the redshirt freshman has garnered the weekly award. Now we welcome back in head coach Pete Shinnick. Well, the regional rankings are out now. You guys are sitting at number 10. The obvious question is, okay, so what does that mean for this week? And then it's a fun conversation with a week to go in the season, the playoff picture.
Sure. There's a lot of moving parts. When my dad coached in the NFL, he used to say there's a mathematical chance that, his team could still get in when they were in situations like this going into the last game. Mathematical opportunity for us, which is good because I'm not very good at math, so somebody else has figured that out. But really, like I told the team, and like we've been saying, the only thing that really matters is we need to win. for any of that discussion to take place. So everything else, that's nice. And I mean, I'm really proud of our guys to be in this position in our second year going into the last week to have even this conversation. But got to go beat, a top 25 program at their place on their senior day. We've got a lot of work in front of us.
Well, it's certainly a tough team. Last week was a tough win. You mentioned that you felt you guys grew up during that game against North Alabama last week. How does that help springboard you forward into this week's game?
Well, I'd love to see us just play off of that and continue to build and know that we can get it done. One of the things that I told this team in fall camp, we had a very average practice. And after that practice, we came in and we talked about, what it was going to take to be very good. And I told them, I said, look, your best can beat anybody in the conference. But when you're average, you're going to get beat. When you're good, you're going to get beat. So I think, against North Alabama, they saw what their best looks like on a continued basis. And you take away 2 plays, the kickoff return and, maybe one other in there, the interception by Mike. And I think we played as close to, the best game we've ever played as a program.
Talk about the defense. We've been talking so much about the offense for good reason. I mean, they did that against one of the nation's best defenses, so that's incredible. But the defense, pitching a shutout against a team that was as good as they were a year ago, and they still figure to be a pretty good team this year. They've still come up with some big wins. They had just beaten Delta. How much did that mean for your defense to shut down their offense?
I think it's a great accomplishment. And Darian Doolin and Alex Crutch and Kyle Shoemaker, our defensive staff, really just done a great job putting our guys in the right position at the right time. And the way they played, the way they tackled, I mean, the thing I'm most excited about is just that growth in tackling guys behind the line of scrimmage, rallying to the ball. If you want to throw a screen out to the outside, a quick pass, there's going to be 3 or 4 Argonaut defenders coming at you, and they're going to come at you pretty well. So really love what we've been able to see out of the defense.
A lot of people think that the offense is the exciting aspect of football to watch. It was the defense that I thought was really fun to watch against North Alabama. So interesting to see that grow as the program has. Now let's talk about this game against West Georgia. Is there anybody in the conference that you look at and think, yeah, they resemble them a little bit?
Well, we were talking about that as a staff earlier, and, they're as close to West Alabama, I think, as there is a team. They've got a very good quarterback, very good running back, and a very sound defense. Size-wise, I think defensively they're similar to Valdosta, which was probably the biggest defense that we saw. So, we think they're as good as we've seen. Nothing against West Al because they're the conference champs and they deserve that. They played better than anybody else throughout the course of the season. But this West Georgia team is very, very good.
North Al was said to have had one of the best defenses in the nation. But in the conference, it's West Georgia that has the top defense statistically in the conference. So what does their defense look like?
They're just long and rangy, and they don't give up a lot. They force you to be very good in the passing game, and you better be very efficient in the run game. I think one of the things that we've been able to do this year is really progress in the run game where we're more efficient with it. To get 160 yards against North Al, I mean, that's a great accomplishment for our guys. It really is.
It certainly is. More to talk about that game and, of course, this game coming up this week. We welcome your questions and wrap things up when we come back. This is the Coach Shinnick Show on the UWF Sports Network.
The world is our ocean, and we are here to make a splash, to dive deep, to create, to develop, to break through. At the University of West Florida, there's no limit to how you can make a splash. Don't just sit on shore. Jump in. The University of West Florida. How will you make a splash?
It's not just a donation.
It's a warm blanket.
It's a bottle of clean water.
It's a roof and a bed.
It's knowing someone cares.
It's feeling safe.
It's a today that's better than yesterday.
Every dollar you can spare helps so much more than you can imagine. Please donate now to help people affected by Hurricane Irma. Your support is urgently needed.
Don't wait. Communicate. Make your emergency plan today.
This is the story of a boy who is very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where nothing could get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. It made him feel uncomfortable. One day, he found out he had something called autism. His family got him help, and slowly, he learned how to live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
Welcome back to the Coach Shinnick Show. About to wrap things up, but before we do, ahead of this game against West Georgia, it is the biggest game of the year. It's the only one left in the regular season schedule, the last one that's guaranteed. I ask you this time every year, or every week. How's the health of the team after a big physical game against North Alabama?
Yeah, I feel very good about where we're at. And again, Kent Morgan and his staff have just done a fantastic job in the weight room with our guys to get us to this place. Our guys look good. We got out of that game fairly, untouched. Little ankle, knee here and there, but nothing major. So excited to have as many guys as we do healthy going into this last game.
One guy that really took off in that game against North Al, Anthony Johnson Jr., base kid, really looked like he just took off and hit a whole nother level. Great to see that out of him. Yeah, very exciting for him. And, I mean, it's something that we've kind of been seeing a lot in practice and knowing what his capability is and, seeing the hole and doing things. Obviously, the big run on third down was huge, but then he had a great run on the outside where a couple guys hit his legs. He still bounced off, got about 13, 14 yards, hit a couple more up in the middle and pulled some people on some. Very exciting to see. I mean, he's we're looking forward to getting him the ball a few more times this week against West Georgia. Ended up averaging, I think, almost 9 yards a game, which is excellent. Well, let's take a look at some of the questions that you've submitted. Owen in DeLand, Florida asks, how did recruiting change after the success last season, and what kind of feedback are you getting from recruits in year 2 with even more success? Well, first off, last year, great success in many ways. But number one, it gave us the opportunity to play some home games. Recruits love Wahoo Stadium. They love downtown Pensacola. And then we get them up on campus, and they're like, wow, we've got a lot of positives. So that's really the number one thing was just, getting the name out and having people see us play. Obviously, beating some teams and being in the position that we're at, it's definitely, sped the process up for us a little bit in getting to, I think, a little higher level in recruiting. What are some of the biggest tools in recruiting? Is it facilities? Is it game day environment? Is it the actual school itself, the education? When you're going out, what is the thing that really seems to mean the most to kids? Yeah, I think it's all the things you mentioned, and it all depends on the young man. I think one of the things that was very appealing about starting the program here was the University of West Florida is one of the best universities in the state and do many things extremely well. Obviously, location plays into it. I think with our new locker room and weight room that we'll be getting in January, that will only add to the experience, and no one can beat our game day experience. It is the best small college football venue in the country to play a game. It's excellent, and it's been a lot of fun. Which leads us to our next question. Bill in Pensacola wants to know, when will that new locker room and weight room facility be finished? And is there any thought given to perhaps prominently honor this first team as founders somewhere in that facility? Well, I think there's a lot of opportunity to do many of that. We do have, a group that's called the Football Founders that have made, numerous contributions to the program. Obviously, that first team will always be special because they are the ones that got us off the ground. We plan on being in there sometime in January. I don't know that a final date has been set, but our guys are excited about it. And as coaches, we're really looking forward to, just one other piece of the puzzle and start, selling our program and promoting it to high school seniors. Sounds great. Thanks so much. Always a good time and some good questions. Of course, if you've got some questions, don't forget, you can write us at goargos.com. Just click on the football page and click Ask the Coach. Volleyball held on at number 20 this week. They are home this weekend. They've got matches Friday and Saturday. They'll be hosting Lee and Shorter. You can stay up to date at goargos.com. Football kicks off at 1 o'clock Saturday against number 24 West Georgia in Carrollton. You can catch that game on Choice 106.9 FM, WRNE 980 AM, beginning with the 12:30 kickoff show. For head coach Pete Shinnick and our entire crew, I'm Tommy Thrall. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again next week.